and interactions. But yeah, I mean, it's the hotel. It's really the hotel that's the scary part. But since all the bands stay here and everyone, it's all one big thing. So I feel good about it, to answer your question.
Good. Now, I know that I know it's part of the Hotel Congress because I watched the special with Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures being part of it, because when I was getting the show together and John's like, yeah, we'll be part of it, like, rock on. And I had to think, wait a minute, I know about Hotel Congress.
That's right.
Did some more research. I'm like, oh my god, yes, I do know about you guys. I know a little bit of the history, but for everyone who don't know, tell us a little bit about the history altogether.
About everything from the hotel to soup to nuts? Well, the hotel was built in 1919, back when it was right across the street from the railroad tracks that brought all the Gentile Eastern visitors into town. It was a nice hotel, had all the accommodations, hot and cold running water, everything you could ask for. And it was pretty much doing very well until 1934, when a fire started in the basement. Do you know this story?
Yeah,
you
a
know
little
this
bit about
story?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just recap it.
Yeah.
So the fire started in the basement, and they had to get everyone out of the building. And then there's a group of guys who were sort of reluctant to leave on the third floor. And finally, the firefighters, said, "Hey, you guys got to get out. You got to get out that window, get on that ladder, and get out. I mean, we don't want anyone hurt." And the guys finally said, "Okay, thanks. Just take care of our bags." And they hand the firefighters $13, and the firefighters dutifully grabbed the bags and ran back down inside the staircase. But they noticed they're super heavy bags, and they're just sort of hauling them down. And they get down, and they get back waiting for the guys, and they open up the bags, and they see, turns out to be $28,000 in cash and Tommy guns.
Oh my God!
That's weird. And back at the fire station, one of the guys gets back there, and he's a fan of True Detective magazine, and he notices that. Wait a second, I recognize those guys. That's the Dillinger Gang. So because of that night, not only did we lose a floor to our building, and we haven't replaced it since then. We are the only Tucson's the only law enforcement agency ever to capture the Dillinger Gang without a single gunshot fired. So it's a pretty cool thing. All the big stuff happened in 1934. Curiously, of that event, and everyone says, "What about Dillinger's ghost?" No ghosts from Dillinger. We have so many other ghost stories, but never one Dillinger ghost. But it's a pretty good story either way. So the hotel went on, and then it was bought out by a neat local couple who were sort of coming into sort of downtown was a dicey place at the time. They bought this great old hotel, and some artists moved in and started this club in 1985, and since then it has been going steady since. It's been a supremely popular place, one of the most popular venues in the country. And part of it is because it's in this great hotel. It's a neat European feel. It's, you get to stay upstairs and play downstairs, and it's cool. And just a lot of all the creative folks in this area have always sort of gravitated toward it. So there's a lot of good energy here.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Cool.
And Lorianna also in the chat room later on before you have to take off. She can do the reading for the hotel too if you want one.
Cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
I love Halloween. All right, go ahead, Spider. What are you gonna say?
Now, considering the haunted history and things like that, what kind of average visitors do you usually get? Do you usually get people all year round checking it out, or is it mostly around this time of year?
No, all year round. All year round. In fact, this time of year, because we do events here now. I mean, in fact, the first time we've opened up the third floor was 4 years ago. The only room sort of left up there where we had this giant swamp cooler, and we've actually removed the swamp cooler, and we realized there was this beautiful old room. It's the only one room left. We decided to have this event in there called, there's a sort of a seance magic space event we do during this month, and that's the only tie-in we've really done during this month. And we still do that every year. We have these neat performers come in and do these seances and magic stuff, and the only room left on the third floor. And we've been open for the first time in 75 years. It's pretty cool. But that being said, to answer your question, people come here all year round, especially the folks who are interested in the spiritual, weird side of this place. And I always suggest if people want to check out the place, the best time to come for that. It's not Halloween because there's just tons of people around. It's all busy and crazy. It's in the best time to come is in the middle of summer when it's really hot and everyone's out of town and there's only a couple rooms rented and it's really quiet. And you can get
see, that's
all to
spooky.
decide yourself. And it becomes, that's historically when the spirits come out, the crazy stuff happens in the heart of the summer. It's happened other times, but that's when it really goes down.
Wow. Mrs. Spider inside the chat room asks us what sort of things go on in there as a paranormal stuff.
Well, I mean, again, most of the historical stuff is like we have the little man in the seersucker suit has been seen for years and years and years. The little girl in the little weird dress. And here's the weird thing. Just the other day we were talking about this as we end up doing around Halloween. And one of our bar managers, who I don't interact that much with sometimes because he works on other nights than I do, but he's a great guy. And some some local TV was coming down to talk about ghosts here, as they always do. And he said, and I said, "Hey Patrick, do you mind talking tonight? I can't be here that late tonight." And they're coming down late. And he said, "Oh sure, I have some good stuff." I said, "What do you mean you have some good stuff? You know all the stories, right?" I said, "No, but I have more stuff. Look at this." And on his cell phone, he shows me this picture of an apparition that I'd never seen before.
What?
And I go, "What? Let's get that on Instagram, you crazy jackass!" I mean, and it's amazing. I mean, it's absolutely. And he swears this is this is it, and the other people saw it. It was. I said, "Well, I'm the guy who knows all this stuff, and I've never heard this." He goes, "Yeah, this is it. Look at this." And I guess it happened fairly recently, so that's pretty cool. So, what was the question? What kind of things? Yeah. So we have particularly good stories up there, but then there's things that happen in certain rooms. I mean, we have the room 214 has the seersucker suit guy. The hallway has the gal. We have the room 242, which is by far our most haunted room, and the one we rent. Actually, that's the last room we rent because since the incident, it's just been the one that people have the worst time in. And unless you're looking for a really ghost experience, and of course, then it gets rented because people want to be in that room. That's room 242.
Well, we got to do. We got to know what the incident was now.
You got to
we got to know. We got to know this picture of it. Can you send the picture over?
Oh, I know. You know what? Patrick doesn't work tonight, and I'm just kicking myself because I looked at this thing, and both the GM and I they're looking at this thing. Oh my God! And he's and it's amazing. I mean, I don't know why. And Patrick, he just doesn't think like that. He doesn't think of like people might want to see this. It's just befuddled me. He said, "You kidding me?" It's pretty amazing. It's the best new thing we've had. I mean, recently. I mean, and it's so vivid and so obvious, and so it's not just a floating ball of light. This is a real apparition. So it's cool. But yeah. But
with since you're doing a music venue now, and your musicians probably they hear a few stories and things like that. Have you ever had musicians and musical groups want to play there specifically because of its haunted history?
One in particular, absolutely. Most of them like it. Some of them learn about it and then just really get into it and come back because they like the idea. But do you remember this band Concrete Blonde?
Yeah,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the lead singer is this gal, Jeanette Napolitano. She has a solo career now. And
she does excellent work, too.
She's enchanted by this place. She had some incident happen here once, and she comes back, tries to get the same room, does the whole... I mean, she comes back just for it. And it's not as if she really wants to. She's sort of just drawn to it. She'll bring her candles and do her whole thing. She's really... She had an incident here, and she's just always been beguiled by the place, and always trying to answer a question I don't even know if she knows the answer to, but it's always she's interacting with the paranormal here. It's crazy. I mean, she literally has a whole trip about this place. So
nice. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of hers, and that's some really neat information for me. Especially.
If you ever get a chance you should get her on the show or something. She'll love to talk. I mean, she's into it. She knows all about it. So.
Well, tell her our information and bring her on down. Well,
there you go. She's actually coming to town in the next 6 months, I think. So.
Ooh, there you go.
So, yeah. she can't play here because we were booked, but she's staying here, of course, because she wants to do her ghost thing.
Yeah,
It's
tell
pretty
her
cool.
about the show. Be happy to bring her on and all that stuff. It'd be great.
Yeah, the thing is, I'll ask, because you never know if it's a personal thing, because
Right.
she really treats it very, she has a very personal interaction with it. It's really, it's a trip. We leave her to her own devices because we know it's as if she's at, not a battle, but she comes here with her, she's here to do some stuff, we just let her do it.
Right. Now, I know, and since you have now, I know your crew has experience. What about you? Have you had any experience at all?
I used to be, it's funny you say that. I used to be the front, I've done a lot of jobs here. I've been here since the beginning of the club, frankly. I've been here, working here for 20 years. I was the first guy to step on the stage back in '85, so I've got a long, long history here, and I know every bit and everybody. And yet, I never really had a ghost story here. I have a tremendous one elsewhere as a touring musician, but that I will never forget. But here, I as a front desk manager and running it and listening to all the stories that come back down the stairs that are repeated over and over again, I can tell you something's going on up there, and how the cleaning crew, the housekeeping, like the one room that they really hate, they just started putting religious iconography on all the walls. Not even asking us, not even asking the people who run the hotel. They just did it to just try to keep that room in check. It's hilarious. Yeah,
wow.
It's a dark little room.
Just one quick question. Hi, sorry, Lorianna, just popping in. Do you ever get smells like rotten eggs in there?
There have been smells. I'm trying to think. I mean, that was one of the things. That was recently we had an issue, but I don't know if it's rotten eggs, but unusual, oddball smells. And not like incense or anything. I just my memory's not serving me. If it's rotten eggs, I can't remember. But there've been unusual smells as part of some of the paranormal activity up there, but I can't tell you if it's been rotten eggs or not. I just don't remember. Is that a thing?
It is. I do a lot of paranormal investigation, and I do go to people's homes sometimes when they have a haunting that gets out of control. And it's a sulfur smell or an unpleasant smell, and it almost appears to be like a phantom, or it'll move around on you, meaning that you can't find a physical cause for it. And those are usually signs of the more negative or heavier spirits.
Good. And it's also the sign of some people who've been in the club all night, having a lot of drinks, and then passing gas. So we've got to be careful of that, too.
Oh, yeah. That's right there.
Don't want a false positive on
that. Which is just as spooky, frankly. Sorry, but that's true. But anything else on that end?
No, I was just wondering when you mentioned the darker room and the staff putting up the religious icons. Usually, people do that when they feel the darker or the weightier presence.
Yeah.
And
let me tell you. That room. Let me give you a little more backstory. A woman killed herself in that room, and it was just a tragic incident. I think the hole's still in the room, whatever. But we didn't. It was very uncomfortable at the room. It's room 242, and that people would still check into the thing, and even people who said, "I want to stay in that room." And I can't tell you how many times when I was at the front desk that if I had to do an overnight, that in my favorite one was this couple that went up there for the ghost thing. Anyway, by 3:30 in the morning, I see a guy rushing down. He's hastily packed his bags. He comes down. He's angry. He's sweating. He's just freaked out. And I go, "What's wrong? Can I help you?" He said, I just got to get. I got to get out of that room. It was almost like The Shining. It was so vivid, and it happened time and time again. That room just gave you this presence, just
wow.
this deep, dark feeling. So to the point where, whether you believed in ghosts or not, we weren't renting that room out because people were having too bad of experiences there.
That's really cool. It sucks that people are running out of the hotel, but to have that much, evidence and experience is awesome.
And just having to repeat it, it's the same room, the same stuff, and that's